You've been told your whole life to trust your gut. And you have. You've learned to read its signals, the growl when you're hungry, the knot when you're nervous, the gurgle that sends you rushing to the bathroom after a heavy meal. You've made peace with all of it. You've called it normal. You've called it aging. But what if some of those feelings you've dismissed for years, those quiet, familiar sensations deep in your belly, aren't actually signs of a body growing older? What if they're warnings? What if your gut has been screaming at you in a language you were never taught to understand? Here's something most people over 60 don't know, and most doctors don't have time to explain. By the time you reach your 60s, your gut lining, the wall that separates your digestive tract from your bloodstream, has been through decades of stress, processed food, antibiotics, and inflammation. And it gets thinner. More permeable. Scientists call it increased intestinal permeability. Most people call it nothing, because they don't know it's happening. When that lining weakens, something frightening begins. Bacteria, undigested food particles, and metabolic waste products, what researchers have started calling gut-derived toxins, can leak into your bloodstream. Your immune system, confused and overwhelmed, fires up a response. And that response? It doesn't stay in your gut. It travels. To your brain. To your joints. To your heart. And it shows up as symptoms you've been normalizing your entire adult life. The first warning sign is one almost everyone over 60 has experienced, that heavy, bloated feeling after eating, not just fullness, but a balloon-like pressure that makes you want to unbutton your pants and lie down. Most people assume it's too much food, or getting older, or just the way things are now. But chronic bloating, especially when it happens consistently after meals, can be a sign that your gut bacteria are wildly out of balance. When harmful bacteria outnumber the beneficial ones, they ferment food improperly, releasing gases and inflammatory compounds. Those compounds don't just cause discomfort. They trigger a cascade of low-grade inflammation that can, over years, quietly damage your arteries, your brain tissue, and your immune system from the inside out. The second feeling people over 60 ignore is fatigue after eating. Not sleepiness, that post-lunch drowsiness is normal. This is a deeper exhaustion. A heaviness that settles into your limbs within an hour of a meal and makes you feel like the life has been pulled out of you. People blame it on blood sugar, on age, on not sleeping well. And sometimes those things are true. But when gut-derived toxins enter the bloodstream, a process called endotoxemia, your immune system treats them like an infection. It floods your body with inflammatory cytokines, the same chemicals that make you feel wiped out when you have the flu. That exhaustion after eating isn't always your body digesting. Sometimes, it's your body fighting. The third warning is one that will surprise you: brain fog. That slow, cloudy, can't find the word, walked into the room and forgot why feeling. We've been told it's a normal part of getting older. Neuroscience says otherwise. The gut and the brain are connected through something called the gut-brain axis, a two-way communication highway made up of nerves, hormones, and immune signals. When your gut is inflamed, that inflammation sends chemical messages directly to your brain. It disrupts neurotransmitter production, including serotonin, and here's what will shock you: over 90% of your body's serotonin is made in your gut, not your brain. When your gut microbiome is damaged, your mood, your memory, and your mental clarity all suffer the consequences. The fourth symptom is irregular bowel movements, and not just occasional constipation or diarrhea, but a pattern that swings between the two, leaving you never quite sure what to expect. This unpredictability is often a sign that your gut motility, the rhythmic muscle contractions that move food through your intestines, has been disrupted by inflammation and bacterial imbalance. More concerning, chronic constipation allows waste to sit in your colon longer, giving harmful bacteria more time to produce toxic byproducts that re-enter circulation. Your body was designed to eliminate toxins quickly. When that system slows down, those toxins don't disappear. They accumulate. The fifth warning sign is perhaps the most dismissed of all: low-grade nausea or a constant unsettled stomach, not vomiting, not acute pain, just a persistent queasiness that you've learned to live with. People over 60 often describe it as, just how my stomach feels now. But your stomach is not supposed to feel like that. That low-level unease. Here's what ties all 5 of these warning signs together, and why they matter so deeply after the age of 60. Your body's ability to recover from gut damage slows with every decade. The same gut that bounced back quickly at 30 after a round of antibiotics or a month of poor eating, that gut is now operating with fewer reserves, less microbial diversity, and a thinner protective lining. The margin for error shrinks. And the consequences of ignoring these signals grow larger and larger with every passing year. Scientists at institutions like the Salk Institute and Harvard Medical School have been publishing research over the past decade connecting gut-derived inflammation to Alzheimer's disease, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and autoimmune conditions, all diseases that spike dramatically in people over 60. This isn't fringe science anymore. This is some of the most urgent, widely replicated research happening in medicine today, and it points to the same conclusion every single time. The gut is not just where digestion happens. It is the command center of your immune system, the engine behind your neurological health, and one of the most powerful determinants of how long, and how well, you live. So what do you do with this information? You start by taking these 5 feelings seriously, not with panic, but with a new kind of attention. A diet rich in fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and kimchi can begin rebuilding a damaged microbiome within weeks. Prebiotic fiber from garlic, onions, leeks, and asparagus feeds the beneficial bacteria your gut desperately needs to restore balance. Chronic stress, one of the most destructive and underestimated drivers of gut permeability, needs to be genuinely addressed, not just temporarily managed. Sleep, real restorative sleep, is the window during which your gut actively repairs its own lining. And processed foods, artificial sweeteners, and alcohol are among the fastest, most efficient ways to dismantle the delicate microbial ecosystem you've spent 60+ years building without even realizing its value. Your gut has never stopped talking to you. It spoke through discomfort you blamed on aging. It sent signals you called inconveniences. It waved red flags you folded up and put away because life was busy and these things felt too small to mention to a doctor. But they were never small. They were a system trying to tell you something important, in the only language available to it, which is sensation, and pressure, and unease, and fatigue. The beautiful truth, the part that often gets left out of these conversations, is that you are not too old to heal. The gut lining renews itself faster than almost any other tissue in the human body. With the right nutritional support, stress reduction, and sleep, measurable improvement in gut health can begin in as little as 72 hours. Not months. Not years. Days. That is not a promise from a supplement label. That is established, peer-reviewed biology.